It's good to have you back, and we're going to take a look at the segment that has to do with family life. My guest today is no less a person but a very distinguished Nigerian, vast and, of course, versatile in so many areas, and with a very sound pedigree. Looking at his background, is also an education consultant and, of course, a proud member of the Christ Church University in the UK. Dr. Durotimi Adeboye is my guest. We say a very big welcome. Thanks for being a guest here today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Craig. Good morning, viewers. I'm glad to be here.
Family values, good parenting are some things that are missing today or have been misplaced in the scheme of the way we see how the youth of today are experiencing a narration that is different from that which you benefited from, I benefited from, and of course the leaders of today benefited from. And we are seeing a different narrative in the social life of our youth today. Where did we get it wrong, or where are we getting it wrong?
Mr. Craig, thank you very much. I will be less skeptical of the situation that we are in. I probably even will be more optimistic. But then I can identify some points of disconnect in the way younger people are raised today compared to the vast opportunity that we had in our time that they do not have. Right. In our days, there was a lot more family cohesion, we want to believe, and we think there is less of it now. I don't think that's really very correct. I was talking with a friend yesterday. I identified two areas for us to be able to evolve a society that works better for the good of all. I never paid a dime going through primary school, getting good quality education in a public school in this Lagos state. That was in the time when the late Dr. Adeniro Ogunsoya was the Commissioner for Education. So you can see how far back that is.
It's quite a long time.
We have to pay a dime. We had a very rich library in the primary school that I went to on Lagos Island. I was able to personally support my own literacy, skill sharpening. We were having milk shake. We used to dance when they drink shake, shake, shake. They used to supply milk to the school. There was no money to be paid. Now, parents have now been conditioned to have to literally buy everything, work for everything that they needed to give to their children. So that disconnect alone, where inequitable access, people don't have equal access to opportunity. That alone itself is defeatist. So now, some of us from very humble background were able to access quality education, go on to do good secondary, get good secondary education, move on to university where we were fed with 50 kobo per meal 3 times a day. I mean, it's not the fault of the younger people today. Ordinarily, they should even have it better. Why? Because they are now advantaged by technology. We weren't, right? But where all of this thing has gotten broken down is that I believe we do not have a system that teaches people outside of the classroom. Parents bring their children to school. They expect the school to teach them everything. Let me tell you, the news headline that you have read today, a 14-year-old boy will hear it. What does it mean to him? Of all the scandalous stories that have pervaded the airwaves and the pages of newspaper, in which of these stories today has justice been served? Right? How many people who are alleged, and I repeat, alleged, to have done some infractions against society have paid the due restitution? This, to me, is bigger than the school curriculum that we all run after, trying to tweak here and there. The curriculum for educating a younger generation in a society goes beyond what happens in the four walls of classrooms. It's beyond the teacher. It's about their perception of, oh, if I take this step and it causes injury to society, will I suffer for it?
In terms of values?
In terms of values, it will reinforce the appropriate value for living well in society with them. If I do some serious damage to society and I become richer consequently, all right, will I still live off that proceed of crime without any consequence? He weighs it. Whichever is possible, he will take. It's natural for man to seek his own pleasure than to pursue pain for himself, unless you belong to a different kind of mental order. Right.
So the encouragement of hard work, the teachings of the fact that a golden name is more precious than riches and wealth that people just captures from anywhere in just a jiffy, without working so hard, you become so, and it's been celebrated as something that is not right societally today.
Yeah, teachers will teach all they can of all these things. Lecturers will talk about it. Campaign on radio, on the mass media will say it all. If it is not reinforced by the larger society by way of appropriately meting out the right punishment to offenders and duly rewarding people who have truly done something great in society.
Diligently and hard work.
Diligence, hard work, shunning avarice, vices, and all the rest of it. We have them all over the place. But you see, it's dangerous when you have a society that has a very long list of billionaires without industry. It sends a very dangerous message to the younger generation that, look, don't bother about that long route. Seek a shortcut. Get it done, and you'll be all right. Not just be all right, you'll be celebrated. You'll be on the pages of some very glossy newspaper.
So, which means society in itself has lost its from the very beginning.
What is social protection? Social protection is about the society doing things within it, taking actions, establishing and entrenching processes that protects itself, one of which is to disallow the possibility of anybody, taking action that will injure the society. Because if you get injury in any part of your body, you bleed. You bleed for so long, you die. That's the same way it is. An individual is just a member of a society. A society is in itself a larger organism. I think we used to call it Gemeinschaft und Gesellschaft in our sociology class. So it's not about me alone living my life. If it gets bad for me and it gets bad for you, then there's a problem all around here.
But as we speak today, there is the need to restore back these values. And of course, they say charity begins at home. But today, that charity begins at home is also faulty, because you find parents not even there at home to impact positive values on their children, and leaving such children to societal norms that, of course, will derail their vision to become successful people or to take values, rights, disciplines. So we need to restore them back. Do we blame parents too for these shortcomings? Because everybody will want to say government.
Mr. Craig, let us put that down to what I would call survival imperative. The same child you are asked to sit at home to look after and give the right value, the same child needs food. You need a job to go somewhere and do it and bring the money to feed him. See, Yoruba people used to say back then that only two people bear a child, the entire community look after the child. The entire community look after the child because if any infraction is happening in society that will cause that little boy or little girl to become, to aspire to dangerous pursuits, there will always be the society there as a whole to hold him down. What kind of child are you? No, you can't do that. You can't. But everybody is busy pursuing their own survival. So, and it's imperative that people have to, pursue
to the detriment of giving a child an upbringing that should serve as exemplary in a society that wants to grow and develop.
We may then begin to consider, options in our society that will support parenting, that will not burden parents so heavily, so extremely, as to seek the basic pursuit of survival over this. What do we do? What do people benefit in this society? right? When your driver on about 50K per month has to send his or her daughter, a son or a daughter, to a private school to pay, if that cost is saved him, then he has more time to stay with his child. Yes, we must look at the people who are on the lower rung of our society, see what amount of support we can, or cushion we can lend to them so that they can live life more meaningfully, and we don't have as many troubled children as we have on our streets. Collecting phone in traffic hold-ups, right? See young children selling on the street. It's because they probably have no choice. I'm not blaming them.
Today, you are an educationist in a way. As a consultant, you relate with kids, you know their needs, you understand how to impact all of these things, teachings on them. But we still have our mothers, fathers to play good roles in everything we are saying, and not just waiting for government. So what will be your own very candid advice, candid opinion in shaping the thinking and direction of our youth of today, so that they can see the need that Yoruba will say BB-raism, or Moluabiism? Where do we place all of that? And we need to restore those values back if we must survive as a country today.
We will not stop doing this. We will not stop doing this. Let me give you one very good analogy. Look at a boat on the river. You have been into one. If the boat is...
I'm scared of water. So
okay.
But I've been into one before.
All right. Avoid using... Anyway, you don't have it. You can't use Third Mainland Bridge for now.
For now.
So look at it. If you are in a boat and there's a leakage, right? And someone inside the boat is making all the effort to fetch the water out of the boat back into the river, right? And then someone else again in that same boat is creating bigger and bigger hole. It won't be long before we sink. The parents have their roles. The parents have their roles to play, right? And it's a very, very big role. They should not think that the school is sufficient, that, oh, I pay a lot of money to put this boy here or this girl in this big, expensive school. That should be sufficient. No, it's not. The parents have a role. Their own role is very clear. They should check on what is going on in the lives of their children who are in schools, whether they are day students, whether they are boarding house students. They should ask questions. They should ask questions. They should involve even older siblings of their children in how they relate to the children regarding what they learn in school. It's all about value. You could come out of school with a very poor grade, but if you have the right value, you will live a happy life. That's the whole point of existence, the pursuit of happiness.
Well, I must let you go. Okay.
If I may also add, it's so depressing how we lay emphasis on material accomplishments much more than other very, very equally important goals in life. It's like only when you are rich in money terms, in material terms, it's only then you get recognition here. There are a lot of people who are doing...
And that is a misplaced...
it's confused, not
confused.
Just misplaced. It's confused.
So
totally
we are supposed to look at values that will give us good reckoning in the society.
That's right. We are people who do not have much in terms of material accomplishment, but have done some really important things, making sacrifices.
Should be recognized.
Should be recognized. You can bring out the national honors list. If the person is not a successful politician, he's a big civil servant. Except we have the occasional policeman who returned a bag of money that they found on the street, and he's given something.
So if, it means from the government perspective too, we are not getting it right. Giving wrong recognition or placing honor where they shouldn't, whereas where there are people whose hard work, whose disciplines, whose morals, and of course whose existence can be so recognized with such honors. That
would be very helpful if it starts with the government acknowledging and appreciating people who are lesser members in society, but then they are making meaningful contribution to be so recognized, to be so appreciated. I sense a very, very strong message back to society, back to the younger generation, to say that, okay, it doesn't matter whether you are rich or not very rich, but so long as you are not doing damage to society, you're doing your own little bit to make society better, then we very much appreciate you.
Today we are to wrap up with you in a very few minutes now. We are looking at skills acquisition that youth should complement that with the discipline, whatever discipline, because they don't need to wait for any white collar job now. They must be entrepreneurial in their drive with school. Are you saying this is also a right step now? Do we appreciate that to give them skills acquisitions?
Absolutely, Mr. Craig. Look, if it's not there, it's not just there. That's the white collar job. But because white collar jobs are not available, are you going to sing? You have to swim. If you have to swim, like they say on the street, you shine your eyes, you identify, you have gotten the university education, congratulations. You can speak very good English. We believe that you will have a better organizational skill. That if you come out with a degree in psychology, in philosophy, if you go and apprentice yourself, maybe surreptitiously to a mechanic garage, and you look at the way they do things there, the day you set up your own mechanic garage, I expect it to be different from Baba Kamaru.
Because of the education that you, as a difference.
Call it a very fancy name, you know a little thing or two about branding. Your friends in mass comm that come to visit, they can tell you, why don't you do this, make it better this way, and then you are out there as one of the best garages to go to. You can Google about gadgets that can diagnose easily for you, and then you'll be a better.
All right, sir, we must leave you now. Thanking you so very much, Dr. Dorotimi Adeboye. We say very big thank you.
Let
very
me
big thank you.
put it very well. I have not completed a PhD.
I bet you were.
Unless you want to honor me with
Let me give you that honor here today. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you. So we'll take another break by bringing you Verbatim. Verbatim. You want to see the teaser of what I'm saying, but take a look at Verbatim and you understand what we're saying. We'll take another break with that now.